Hello, this is Wylan with the FPV podcast. Before we get into the content of the podcast, I'd just like to let you know that we have open ticket sales for the Kentucky Speedway race. We're going to be racing at the quarter-mile track, which is located inside the Kentucky Speedway. We also have access to the fan zone, the Bluegrass Hall, which is where media and the actual NASCAR drivers sit, which is pretty cool. And of course, you can park inside the track. So it's going to be a great event. If you're interested in flying, definitely go over to our website at droneracing.com and pick up a ticket. Sales tickets are going pretty quickly. And if you have a Phantom or some sort of camera drone and you would like to fly in there, we also have a fun fly ticket that you can get. So definitely check it out and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you so much, and on to the show. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's FPV podcast. Just like last week, we have a team member from Dover. This week we're going to be talking to Expert Drones. We're going to be talking to Chase. So let me go ahead and introduce him. Chase, say something about yourself.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Chase Waddell. I go by Kova, and I'm part of Team Expert Drones that placed second at the Dover IDRA race.
Yes, that was awesome. Elvin couldn't stay with us today because he had some family issues, so we wish him the best. But we continue on because that's what we have to do. So, Kova, who were your other three teammates that was at Dover?
Dover with me was Thomas Wilkie, goes by Wilkie FPV. Cody Wright goes by Dinosaur. And then Billy Shuett, who goes by Bilster.
That's right. And they were by far the fastest team on the track, going all the way until finals, in which I would say technical issues was your downfall in the finals. Unfortunately, that's a very bad way to go out.
Well, it feels like you got robbed, and there's no one to really be angry at but your equipment, and they don't really talk back. So it stinks, especially when we were doing so well, to just have not be able to race it out for the end and have the equipment fail us instead.
Definitely. It was actually really fun watching you guys race because definitely some of your guys, Wilkie, Bilster, I mean, they were pounding out some super fast laps out there. Very smooth, very fast, very low to the ground. I can tell that you guys, you're really conditioning yourselves to fly low.
Oh, yeah. That's honestly one of our main focuses of practice. Because if you think of it in 3 dimensions like we race, I mean, the higher you go, the more distance you're adding to each lap. So the lower you can stay to the ground, the closer you can stay to the ground, the less ground you're covering, shorter the distance, faster the lap.
Yeah, definitely. So before we get it more into the team stuff, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, yourself. How did you get into FPV for the people that don't know?
I got into FPV like most people. I started with a big GoPro gimbaled rig and started out with some Fat Shark teleporters and a immersion 600 milliwatt system. But it was fun, but I always was wanting to go faster. And my F450 in NASA wasn't exactly built for acro. So I remember I actually tried to flip that thing one time and crashed it pretty spectacularly. And that's when I was like, you know what, maybe I'll try out these racing drones everyone's talking about.
Time to go smaller and faster. The little mini quads, huh?
Yep. And then once I got my first one, it was just like, all right, I'm selling everything to get more of these. These are fun.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So tell me how the team formed, because I actually know about half your team, but I didn't know you guys were actually going to form a team and go up and compete at Dover.
Yeah, what actually happened is we put together a local team for an event here locally last year that was a qualifier for nationals. It was the Race X at Dulles. And when we put that team together, it was actually me and Tom and then 2 other guys who we don't fly with anymore. But Cody, I had met actually on our C groups. He'd hit me up and said, hey, I saw you're from the area. Just wondering if you want to get together and fly. So we got together a few times, and I was like, this guy's awesome for only flying 3 or 4 months. He's picking up really fast. And I was like, how would you like to fly with us at Dulles? And he was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. So we kind of just set it to the side, and that's how I met him. Well, long story short, we get to the end of the race. We did pretty well, and a company called Expert Drones puts out an email to everyone in our DC DUG, which is the drone users group in the DC area, just basically saying we're looking for the top pilots. If you want a chance to get on a team where travel will be paid, you'll have monthly budgets, that kind of thing, expenses, a real basically pro sponsorship. submit us your best video, submit us a short, history of your flying skills, and we'll get back to you. So long story short, me and Cody were the first two people that they picked from the area. And I basically petitioned them until they let Tom on the team because I basically flew with him every day, and I couldn't take the puppy dog eyes he would give me when I tell him about all the cool things I was doing. So we got Tom on the team, and that was basically, it was the three of us for the last year and a half, and it works really well. I mean, we all have really different flying styles, but we all kind of gravitate towards racing. Cody more so is definitely more artistic with his builds. I mean, he paints everything, all that kind of stuff, and color matching and LEDs. And Tom is always weight saving and small as possible. And I'm like, I just build tanks that I can crash into walls and stuff. I'm just all about durability. But when it comes down to it, when we finally decide on a rig for a race, we abilities. So we end up with, I mean, we got lucky enough where we have a local frame designer that works with us as well. And it's just the sky's the limit as far as what we want in a racer. So it's been really awesome having that kind of support in the community around here to help us get that competitive edge, really.
So when you went up to Dover, you actually added your fourth as just the last person because you needed a 4-person team?
Yeah. Bilster he kind of just popped up on the scene in the last few months at Maryland Quad Racers, our local multi-GP chapter. And he had just been kicking the crap out of me and Tom, which doesn't normally happen. So it definitely got our attention. And, the first time, of course, we shrugged it off like, you got lucky. We weren't flying good that day. And then it happened like 3 or 4 times in a row. And we're like, all right, maybe it's him. It's not us.
Oh, there's something there. There's some skill going on there.
So I'm of the mentality, hey, if you can't beat them, join them. So I was like, hey, you need to come be on my team and fly with us.
I like that. That's a good idea. No, I completely agree with you. Like throughout the whole qualifiers in Dover, you just saw Bilster, like he kept on getting more confident. He pounded out some incredible laps. One of them is like under single digits as far as I'm concerned. And it's like, that was amazing.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I'll be honest with you, that I think he might have got to about 70 or 80% of his normal pace. He was super, super nervous. That was really like his first major event. So I can't wait till later on in the season when he gets comfortable with being on the big stage.
Definitely. That would be pretty cool. Now, so was this the first team event that this whole team, that the complete team competed in?
Yes. We were going to try this year to focus a lot more on the team events just because individual is nice. But in the end, we're trying to represent our sponsor. And I think team events get definitely more publicity, maybe a bigger following in people that aren't so into FPV just because it's, a little easier to track when you're doing, whether it be 3 laps pit and 3 laps and kind of get a longer race than just the normal heats of, 60 pilots, run them up, run them through, and you can't really tell who's racing who.
Okay, cool. So now tell us a little bit about Expert Drone. So like, obviously they're great sponsors of yours. It's actually very rare to actually have a sponsor that will cover everything, especially traveling expenses. So that's a kudos to you guys for finding such an awesome sponsor.
I lucked into that. That was definitely no skill on my part. I just answered the call and was lucky enough to be selected. But basically, they do mostly DJI repairs as far as like Phantoms and Mavics and stuff like that. But Brett, the guy who owns the company, my sponsor, he knows that there's a lot of crossover in the community. A lot of guys who fly Phantoms and Inspires and Mavics also race drones. So why not have a presence in the FPV racing community as well as in the commercial side of it?
Okay, that's pretty cool. So in other words, he just saw the value of it and then he decided to sponsor your team, which I guess initially he just wanted 3 people, but you just needed to add a 4th for Dover.
Yeah, exactly. So we're petitioning hard to add Bilster as a permanent member and get him a jacket into the club, but the jury's still out on that for right now.
Okay, hey, you don't snap him up, somebody else is going to snap him up. That's how it goes in racing.
That was basically the wording of my email. So yeah.
You see this? This is a single digit for the lap. Like, you need to pick him up. He's fast.
Yeah, definitely. He is amazing for sure.
Oh, that's pretty cool though. So tell us, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Dover. So when you guys decided to go, did you guys know the entire format and everything you were getting into, or was it kind of a last minute thing in which you're trying to just cobble everything together to make sure you're prepared?
I don't know that we focus so much as on the format so much as just practicing flying in general. I mean, we knew it was going to be a smaller track just because of the event. You know, with that many spectators, you expect a smaller course. Um, Knew it was going to be over asphalt, so kind of build accordingly with our with the drones we were racing that weekend. And then no, I don't think we really focused on the format as much. I think we kind of figured, whatever, it's a pit stop. How hard could it be? But that ended up being like honestly one of the biggest parts of our strategy for the weekend was figuring out our pit stop.
Oh yeah, definitely. So like you said, you built your drones tough. So what'd you do? Like you use custom frames from a local manufacturer there. So like tell us a little bit about that.
I personally prefer the stretch frames, and Tom and Cody normally fly True X's. And what's funny is that me and Tom prefer monoplates, and Cody prefers modular. So we basically all three have the exact same frame in different configurations.
You're making life tough for your custom manufacturers, is what I just heard.
January Burns is actually the one who owns Secret Weapons, and I know he hates when he gets a message from me on Facebook because it's always some outlandish idea like, hey, could you know, make a 3 mil plate that's filled with foam that is a 6 inch stretch in one direction and he's just like, man, this guy is nuts. But
Hey,
no, for the Dover race specifically, I ended up going with a 3D printed pod over my normal. I normally just run a carbon top plate with a TPU cam mount, just basic, like old school. But I knew with the asphalt and stuff, I kind of wanted something that was going to take a beating. So I ended up going with the 3D printed Skelly pod that Cody designed.
actually, I saw that. That was actually really cool. Even Zoe actually gave you a compliment on your design, and she really liked it. She wanted one of those 3D pods because it was the first one that she saw that was actually like it was a skeleton. You know, there was no walls there, so it was a really interesting design to actually to look at.
Yeah, I'll have to actually. I'll bring you the Mark One version of it someday. But it's basically a full pod in a very small 185 millimeter cross section, so very small 5 inch frame. But we noticed that the Ford ones and stuff we were using got really hot, so we're like, how can we increase airflow? But then we started basically made a SkellyPod TPU version and it was too soft. So it's like, okay, we need to try this ABS. And Cody actually found a plastic that worked amazing and then designed the new design to actually incorporate the cam mount into it. And it was just perfect.
Oh, okay. So that's actually quite a bit of experimenting you needed to do in order to get it to work properly.
Yeah, we crash a lot of stuff.
That's called testing, folks. You know what? Kudos to Secret Weapon. I know that I think they came down to Megadrone as well, and I remember seeing a few posts from them.
Yep.
So pretty cool. So now your team got to Dover. What was your initial thoughts once you first saw the track and all of the event there?
At first I was a little nervous, but once I saw the track, I was kind of excited. With as big as the gates were, it really gave you a lot of opportunities on the track to make passes or to take riskier lines or to try to cut corners. I know a lot of people were kind of making the three gates at the start line into like one long carousel. But by the end of it, I figured out just make it a triangle, cut the corners as fast as you can. And it was fun. I was worried the track was going to be really tight and asphalt is like the worst mix ever for a pilot.
That's
Like,
the
oh
truth.
man, I'm gonna constantly destroy my stuff. But no, I thought the track was great. The netting, oh my god, I can't say enough about the netting. It was awesome. Every race should use that netting. I've been to some races where literally you're cutting netting out of your motor windings. Like it's terrible stuff.
That is funny. Actually, the netting was pretty awesome, and I'm so surprised that the top netting was up when I actually got there like 3 days early. It was like, oh, it's already up, thank God, because that's like impossible to do most of the time. But besides that, like, what was the most challenging part of the track for you?
Personally, probably the right-handed 180 up into the top part of the cube, just because I hate right-handed turns. That's just me personally. I know everyone else was struggling with the like descending left into the hurdles, but I don't know. I didn't have much trouble in that turn. I never clipped the hurdles once, so I came out unscathed.
He just named himself a self-professed NASCAR fan. He's like, I can't do right turns. I can only do lefts.
That's it.
So okay, so once you actually got to practicing, like, what did you think of the pit stops? Because you already kind of said ahead of time that your pit strategy kind of moved and shaped differently throughout the whole event.
Yeah, at first we figured, whatever, we'll just have one guy out there and he'll grab it and throw a battery on and that'll be that. And I ended up being that first guy in the pit. And I was like, man, it's really hard to hold one battery while pulling the other battery off and then slipping this one in and then putting the battery strap back on. I think our first pit was like 45 seconds or something. It was terrible. I was like, look, guys, we got to rethink this strategy. We got to come up with something new. And then I think it was Cody. It was either Cody or Tom had the idea. Well, let's lose two people. We'll have one person permanently holding the quad, and then one person just attaching batteries, and then that worked out pretty well for us by the end.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Now, one thing about expert drones is that you guys are all competitive. We definitely knew that going in. So, you got into some heated debate. So, come on, give us a little story. Don't hold back. Like, what was the arguing about?
Well, at first it was those stupid splitters they gave us, man. They were terrible. They were terrible. They kept popping out. I think three or four people had just midair disconnects from them being so loose. So went back and used the old XT60 spread technique, and then tons and tons of tape. But it was just, I don't know. I felt like the pit stop was unnecessary with such a short track. I was like, man, let's just run like 10 laps straight, you know. And Justin was like, no, we're not doing that. That's not going to happen. So I was like, all right, well, that's the end of that argument.
So you were petitioning to change the whole format for the entire weekend, huh?
Yeah, I mean, come on, why not?
You are a wild man because, yeah, I remember you, like, you were just like out there and you were racing and I don't know, I know your quad crashed because you were out there, you were picking it up, and then like you were in the middle of the track and you were yelling all the way back to the flight line, and I can hear you. And I was like, Chase is really yelling. He has some lungs.
Well, I went through the cube, and as I go through the cube, my XT60 disconnects, my quad goes straight into the wood baffling at like 60 miles an hour. And I'm like, dude, come on, it's mid-air disconnect. I was so upset. I was in first too, but whatever.
Well, yeah, your team was in first quite a lot. So, like, once the anger subsided, I mean, your team regrouped. So, what was the, what got you to calm back down and, get your team to refocus so that you could actually get that top qualifier spot?
Well, Tom and Cody just came over and they're like, look, it in the long scheme of things, qualifying time, once qualifying's over, it really doesn't matter. We qualified, we're in first, whatever. Let's go to the next round, which was I guess it was the heads up timed rounds. They're like, it's starting anew, basically, nothing's carrying over. They're like, don't worry about it, just forget about it, move forward. So they kind of talked me off the ledge, if you will, and then kind of calmed down, had some water, and then went into semifinals with a positive attitude and just looked at it like a new fresh race.
New fresh race. So who's the calm guy? Because we can tell that you're the hype guy. So who's the calm guy on your team?
Probably Cody. Cody keeps the most level head. Me and Tom are definitely super super competitive. So we don't like anything not going our way on race day.
That's true. I understand that. It's tough though. Like in any drone race that you've ever been to, right? Nothing ever goes completely right. It just never happens.
Well, and if it does, you're so cynical that something's just around the corner, like a major accident in the finals or something. You're like, just happen to me now. Get it out of the way in qualifying or first round, whatever's going to go bad. Let me just get it out of the way so we can move forward.
So, like, when you were there and you found out you were the top qualifier, did you get a sense that your team was doing that good, or was it just like, hands down, let's just get out these heats, let's just make sure we're doing what we're doing?
Well, it's kind of weird because we almost train in a vacuum. I normally only fly with Tom, Bill, and Cody, and every once in a while we'll go to MQR. And MQR is the most amazing chapter around here. I mean, there's 10 or 15 guys every week who are in contention to win that event. It's nuts. So when you race those guys all the time, you never feel like you're getting that far ahead of the group. So you're like, man, I got to keep trying. I got to keep pushing. Like there's still guys right on my tail. But then we go to a major event we're racing outside people that we don't normally see every weekend. And it was just like, man, we've been pushing really, really hard, and now we can kind of back off and play it safe, if you will, and not push to the extreme and just kind of, I don't want to say coast, but basically take the safe route in, and then wait. If we need to go faster, we know we can. We know we're capable of it.
Hey, that's a really good sound strategy for almost every race, right? Because in most formats, in fact, all formats, finishing the race is more important than getting the hot lap or getting the real fast lap.
Yeah, definitely, and that's my spot on the team. I'm always Mr. Consistency. I'm never the fastest in the group, but they always joke around. If you crash, Chase will pass you. So don't give him a reason. Don't mess up, because he's right there just lurking, waiting for you to screw up.
There we go. You got to be the person that's just like standing right behind him, trying to psych him out. But your team did really great, and one of the things that we talked about last week was Concrete Quads. They're from the Maryland area too, so they raced with you guys, and there's a few fast pilots on there too, so they'll definitely give you a run for your money.
Oh man, IDRA and Freshness, man. Every week I'm battling with those guys. They're definitely and Freshness. I think he's like maybe 5 or 6 months into the hobby. I mean, it's incredible how good these guys are getting, how fast. I mean, it really is.
I think it's. I want to say that the hardware that they have to learn from is so much better now, that their learning curve is significantly less than like when the people started 2 years ago. I just want to say that. You think that's true?
You remember the stock PIDs on base flight? They were like, do not use them under any means. Detune and start over. So I think it's a testament that, you can just go flash beta flight on pretty much anything and fly competitively. Maybe it's not the perfect tune, but it's enough to where it'll do what you want it to do, and that's a testament to the technology right there.
Yep, that's true. Like in, KISS boards, they're kind of the same way. It's like if you don't do anything really strange to your builds out of the box, it will fly really well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really cool to see how easy stuff has become to build, even with all the the advents of the 4-in-1s and the all-in-ones, and the unifies with built-in I remember when my friends freaked out the first time I had a build that didn't have a regulator on it. They're like, how are you taking battery voltage? This is insane. Like, so it's cool to see that everything is made it a lot easier, I want to say, to get into the sport. It's not so intimidating now like it was. I mean, it felt like you had to have an associate's in electrical engineering when we first started to just figure out how to flash your multi-Wii OSD. And now you can do everything through the beta flight GUI. So it's cool.
It is really cool. And I think one of the interesting things is that from what I've seen, just talking to pilots all over the nation, is that areas where the chapters are really well run and they run a lot consistently, they always have better pilots because they're always out there and they always constantly push themselves, because there's always going to be some event that they want to go to next in their area to compete in. So it's like, it seems like the Maryland area has a really just well-knit community of racers, and you guys just all make yourselves better because you're always competing against each other.
Yeah, and we got really lucky. Matt's gonna kill me. Can't remember his name. Matt Crouch. So goes by R2. He actually runs the Maryland Quad Racers chapter, and he does an amazing job. I mean, I don't think we've ever run the same track twice, and he's always incorporating what's popular at the time. So even before the Dover race, 2 or 3 weeks before, we were running hurdles, we were running dive gates, we're running cubes, all that stuff. So when we pulled up the Dover, it was kind of like, oh yeah, I know how to take this. I know what line works best on these. So it really is, like you said, it's awesome. He runs an event bi-weekly. So whether it be a fun fly or a race, you can go out and actually get on a track with a timing system against other competitive pilots and actually get a really good practice. And, instead of just going in the backyard and setting up a few gates and, 2 or 3 lipos and you call it a day.
That's pretty nice. Yeah. Actually, kudos to anybody that can run bi-weekly. It takes a lot of work to do that. I mean, like, it's just a whole lot of work to be able to set up all that stuff and just keep motivated, keep doing stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely kudos to the organizers out there. Okay, so you get into the top qualifying spot, and now you're going into team elimination rounds. You're Like everybody knows you're the team to beat. At that point, did your strategy change? Did you like feel a different sort of pressure? Because at this point now, everybody knows who's the fastest and who they need to beat.
Right. No, I think after the first qualifying round, when we went into the semifinals, we kind of just wanted to keep the same strategy. We were going to make everyone beat us. If we would have come in the semifinals and started getting some real pressure and people breathing down our necks, then we would have, put a little bit more into it. But I think we were just kind of trying to sandbag our way in the finals and be like, oh, this is as fast as we can fly. I hope you don't beat, a 2-minute total because that's right where we are. But no. I think the whole time we were kind of just competing with ourselves. I mean, I know me and Tom and Bill and Cody were all trying to get fastest lap of the event, or fastest ET, I should say. But I think Bill ended up coming out with that title by a considerable amount.
He was fast. I mean, that's just all I can say. And what? He's got less than a year of experience under his belt too, right?
Yeah, he's right at 6 months.
He's right at 6 months. So we got like two guys that are like, they're the couple of the fastest pilots in this race, and they're less than a year of experience. That is kind of crazy.
I know, right? It makes me feel like I wasted the first 2 years on the Simon K and the base flight and all that stuff. I should have just waited.
It's like, wait a minute, there's something wrong. These guys are catching up too quickly. Now,
yeah, you got to put in the time.
You got to put in the time. So, like, throughout the whole race, I think the biggest change to get people to actually to get more competitive in the race is that the pit strategies changed, because we went from, I saw like a minute and 10-second like pit change in the first qualifier, and it like dropped down into low 30s. So, like, were you guys worried about that? Because those pit stops really kind of told the race from the second half on.
Yeah, we like I said, we changed when we went into this. Actually, we changed right at the end of qualifying. So when we went into the semifinals, we were using our new pit strategy, and I think we were averaging right around 15 to 20-second pits. So we weren't. I mean, we weren't too worried. We were in about average speed of everyone else. So I don't think we were going to lose a race from there. And we figured with the speed we were running on the track, basically we just couldn't lose time in the pits. We didn't have to win the race in the pits, but we couldn't lose the race in the pits.
Okay, that's pretty sound strategy. So talk to me about the finals, because that's got to be a frustrating moment for you guys, because you were the clear favorites to go in, but you had like 2 DQs, and then I think you came in second and you came in first. I think that's memory serves. That's right.
Yeah, Tom DQ'd the first round. His VTX actually we think it just overheated. Not sure. He tried to switch his backup, but his backup didn't have props on it, so he literally just ran out of time to get something on the line. And that was like, oh man, because Tom is like the anchor of the team. He is always consistently fast. He really I never see Tom sweat, and I practice with him all the time, and I am all over him. And he's never shaky. He's never nervous. The pitch in his voice doesn't change. It's annoying. I try and try and try, and I cannot shake that dude. But so he goes down, and I knew that everyone was gonna kind of get down in the dumps over that, because, like I said, he's the anchor. He's basically your leadoff hitter. So I went second, and I was like, all right, I got to win, and I got to win big. I got to bring some life back to the team, if you will. So came into my heat, won that one. Cody was up next. Everything was going fine for Cody. And then I think he said probably 4th or 5th lap, he started to have some VTX issues where he was getting bleed over, and then motor noise. And again, I think it was just a combination of the heat and just, I don't know, unifies were dropping like flies that day for some reason. And his ended up just basically getting to the point where he couldn't see anymore. So he crashed out on the hurdles on, I think, like 3rd or 4th lap. So he was out. But he still got a point. Someone crashed before him. So that was like, all right, there's still some life. If Bill gets first and Platinum Vape takes a 4th place, we can tie. And because we're TQ, we'll win. So I was like, all right, Bill, all you got to do is win. And then it's on Platinum Vapes to, finish it. So unfortunately, we know how that ended up. They ended up 3rd in that final race, and they got 1 more point and were able to take the win from us.
That's a tough one, isn't it? It's like you're just watching your points like squandered, and you're like, man, that's really tough.
Yeah, and it. Well, you know what? I kind of liked it though because it really showed you, all right, as much success as we had in the first day and a half of the racing, it really doesn't matter. You got to keep winning. You got to stay in first. You got to stay on your game. You can't get lazy or look ahead. Basically, you can't go ahead and predict what's going to happen in the finals. You never know. I mean, you might end up with two DQs.
With two DQs, which was super tough to watch actually, because we were expecting some really good racing out of all of the heats from you guys. But like when that happened, right, and you realized you had two DQs, like did you guys kind of, get bummed out, or did you guys just kept pushing and just saying we still had a chance and we are still going to go for it?
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point we just wanted to prove that it was mechanical. We didn't just break down in the finals. So I know me and Bill wanted to go out and just race as hard as we could and try to make it a point that it was just crap luck and not not a team breakdown, if you will.
Okay, now talk to me something about the hardware, because like this is something that happens a lot. It's like, did you guys think you could like prepare better with the hardware? You should have brought more drones, brought more VTXs, swapped them out earlier just in case. Is there some
Yeah,
lessons learned there?
I think we know now that we're definitely going to watch when it's really really hot. I mean, that last day, I think it was in the 90s. It was pretty hot. I think we'll keep a better eye on how long we're to keep them powered on the ground. I mean, I know it's supposed to be, 5 or 10 minutes without an antenna and they're fine, but I mean, I've seen them personally shut off from overheat protection after 2 or 3 minutes on the line. So I think it was just a combination of not having enough stuff prepared and not thinking we would need it. I mean, we had brand new unifies in the bag in our tent, but that doesn't help you when you're on the line and your stuff's not working.
That is very true. So like, what was it? Was it like 5 minutes to if your stuff isn't working, and then they're just gonna go without you and you get a DQ? I can't remember the exact rule.
Yeah, I think it was something. It was either 2 minutes or 5 minutes. It
Oh,
was
I
something
think it
like.
is 2 minutes. I know it was really short, and I know like Justin was really running a very very precise clock towards the end because he wanted it to be, get this stuff done. And to be honest with you, like just looking at the time, hindsight's 2020. We actually started too late. We shouldn't have started at 11:30 because what we saw was that the crowd was heading in early for the NASCAR races. So like we started losing people at the end because people wanted to get to their seats early, and we just started too late.
I will say though, there was a lot of people. I kept watching my DVR back, and it would be 3, 4, 5 people deep around the track, and I didn't notice it at the time when I was racing because I was kind of zoned in on flying, but there was a lot of people there.
Yeah, was it fun to fight for a crowd, or well, listening to you, you probably didn't even notice a thing. You're like, I gotta race, I gotta go fast.
Tunnel vision, man. I enjoyed it when I was in the pits. I was talking up people and showing them my goggle view and stuff like that when I was on the pit crew. But when I'm up there flying, it's definitely I go into serious mode for a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually kind of fun that you guys actually had uniforms on, because when you get out there, people will actually watch you in the pit, so they actually notice your uniforms. I kind of wish that Justin asked people to come up with specific colors, making you guys
Yeah,
easier to point out, because like you, Pittsburgh, and Platinum Misfits, they were all easy to identify because they all wore the same stuff. So when I looked over there and I looked in the pits and you're working, it's like, oh, I know that team's working on the pits. Otherwise, it's like, I think it's them.
yeah. You don't know all the pilots by name yet? Why? Come on.
Hey, I'm trying. I'm trying.
No,
Uh,
it's totally agree. I think especially for a team event like that. I mean, why not? It's get some T-shirts made at the very least.
Hey, I know that, I kept on saying expert quads, and you guys were always yelling at me saying, damn it, why? Get the name right.
Expert drones, damn it, expert drones.
You were by far the biggest yeller, because like you could be like 20 feet away from me and I could still hear you up on the stage. It's like, Chase can yell.
Hey man, I have a good time when I get away from my normal 9 to 5 and get to go fly toys competitively. Yeah, I definitely enjoy it for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So you got second place. It's still really good. So did you enjoy yourself? I mean, what was your overall thoughts of Dover?
Yeah, I actually had a really good time with the race. Normally, big events always kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth because you always feel like you didn't get enough flight time, or somebody got preferential treatment, or I think Justin did a great job. The event, like you said, it started a little late, but other than that, I mean, he kept to the time schedule within reason and was ultimately fair with every team. Whether you liked his decision or not, he was unbiased. Same rules for everyone. It sucked, but we didn't make the 2 minute mark. If it had been any other team, I would have want them DQ'd too. So all in all, he ran a fair game, and I don't think anyone could contest the results. I think everyone agrees with how it finished, and what's better than that? A decisive victory, if you will.
Well, only if it's decisive victory for your team, right? So,
Well,
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Like a lot of big races, and I've been with you on almost all of the big races. They've been letdowns because of delays, ruling, changes in ruling, all sorts of stuff that I didn't understand. I gave up on most of those races at the end too. I'm like, whatever, it's time to move on. We actually had a very good finals, in my opinion.
yeah, like I said, it went. I mean, I've never seen a finals go through that quickly with all the heats. I mean, normally in finals, it's like if someone's gonna complain about video or bitch about someone blocking their antenna or something, it's gonna be in finals. Like that's when everyone gets real testy and moody, if you will, and they're just complaining about every little thing. But you really didn't hear anything at the Dover race. Everything went so smoothly, and schedules were posted, VTX channels were posted, everything was ready to go. They were really on the ball.
Yeah, it was great. And like, tell me a little bit about like, like, did you think that everybody argued for certain things throughout the things? Because we all knew that video was going to be an issue. It's going to be like everybody was going to have their ups and downs with video. I mean, at a stadium and venue like that, it's just going to happen.
Well, I think a lot of the pilots honestly just I don't know, maybe they hadn't been to big events before and didn't know what to expect. Me personally, that was great video compared to some of the big events I've been to. I had no complaints on the video all day. And I don't think people realize when you have that many pilots in a metal enclosed area next to a racetrack that's putting on a internet demonstration 50 feet from your race with
Yeah.
50 wireless routers. I mean, it went pretty well. I mean, I know there was a couple channels that were having intermittent interference all day, but I think Justin addressed that pretty well. They tried to swap people when they could, and accommodate people as best as possible. But in the end of it, it all comes down to luck of the draw. Sometimes you have a great video signal, sometimes you don't, and I think most pilots practice flying through crappy signal. I know I do. It's just another skill to have, and like I said, I normally count on having bad video at big events.
That's true, actually. I agree with you. I think the mark of a true great pilot is to be able to fly, maybe at not at 100%, maybe at 85 with bad video. Like I've seen some really great pilots, like they'll smash into something, their camera lens is gone, and they'll still finish the race with like 30% of their viewing area still visible. I'm like, how do you fly through that?
Yeah, yeah, and it's definitely something you practice. I know I do, because like I said, it's almost always, if not the whole event, at least one race in the event, you're gonna have bad video, and you can either put on the brakes and hold up and wait, or you can fly through it and hopefully it breaks when you get around the next obstacle, or on the other side of the track. Hopefully the video improves, but you just kind of take that gamble.
Chase is like, I'm going for it. I don't care. I'm just gonna move, and then if luck's with me, then I'll come out the other side. Okay.
Exactly. You just gotta pick a line and shoot through the smoke.
Pick a line, shoot through the smoke, like a true racer. All right, so let's go ahead and close out Dover. It was great seeing you guys. I hope your team sticks around. I hope you get Bildster on your team, and you guys compete in more team races. I love team races. I think they're the most funnest things to watch. A group of people enjoying themselves, or arguing, or lobbying for something. It's still fun to watch, in my opinion.
Definitely, definitely. I had a lot of fun. I definitely think we're gonna try to get at least one, maybe two more team events this year. And yeah, I wasn't sold on the team idea before the Dover race, but I had a lot of fun. I have to admit, it opened my eyes to the team format.
Okay, pretty cool. So let's go ahead and swap over to what's going on locally in your Maryland area. I know you guys are doing your regional qualifiers. Yeah, regional qualifiers this week, I think.
Yep, it'll be on Sunday, June 25th. We'll be, I think Matt goes ahead and live streams it to YouTube as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but like I said, we have 50 pilots pre-registered. A couple of the race flight guys are coming out, Gars, and oh, who else was Preston? Preston and Gars are signed up. Like I said, Bilster, Tom, all of us are we're already qualified, so we're going to go ahead. We set up a heat for pilots who are just qualified, so we don't have to worry about taking out anyone who hasn't qualified yet. So we're going to beat down and bang on each other and try to win for bragging rights, if you will, and let the other pilots scrap it out for the remaining positions.
Well, you find, so this is one of the interesting things, and we were talking about this before the podcast, and it's one of the things I actually don't like about regional qualifiers is that the pilots that can travel or that are willing to travel that go to more qualifiers will inevitably advance first, and the pilots that can't travel, I mean, your chances of actually getting in is significantly diminished. Do you like that? I mean, this year it worked out for you, so I'm sure you'll like that, but would you rather see a change in that?
Well, I think if you did more of a regional thing, you would kind of get more of a competition locally, which I think would spur better pilots, from each area. If you had to compete with your chapter and that was it, you know what I mean? You would definitely raise your game if you knew who you had to race and who you had to beat. But that being said, I took advantage of the system and went to Delaware and to the very first qualifier in our region and just checked that off my bucket list as fast as I could. So
Hey, that's smart though. It's one of the things that if you're a serious multi-GP racer and you want to get into the nationals, which is I think held in Reno, Nevada this year, you really need to travel. You really need to plan that into your schedule, figure out how many, qualifiers you can get your butt to and race in so that you can get that checked off as quickly as you can.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, all three of us on Expert Drones got qualified at the Delaware event. So we've literally had the last month and a half to just practice the regional finals track. So we're ready. We're ready for Boston.
Ready for Boston. Is that finals for you?
Yeah, finals for our region is July 29th in Boston.
So how many people are going to nationals from Boston?
I believe the top two are guaranteed entry, and then 3 through 6 will get an invite to I guess it's the Sirius 60, which is the race just before nationals, the pre-qualifier.
Okay,
so you just don't know if you get to go to the big show or not.
Yeah, you just you have more races in order to get to the big show, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I don't know. At the end of the day, if you're really confident in yourself, that might be a good thing. You get to fly more. I don't know.
Yeah, right. You get a nice warm up before the last day.
So, is the team ready to travel all the way across all the way to the West Coast to go to Reno to nationals?
Oh yeah, I mean that's been the plan. I mean we normally have team calls, team chats once a month, and just kind of lay out what we think we should be doing, what events we should attend, what practice schedule we're looking at. And so this year was definitely we want all three of our pilots in the top 25 at finals. So that's our goal this year. So not only just getting to Reno, but performing well.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your dirty secrets, which is how you practice. I hear you dropped your little hints that you've been flying a little fixed wing. What's going on with that?
Yeah, I actually I live really close to the infamous Shelby Bowl, so I get to pick his brain when it comes to fixed wing stuff, and he's insane. So it really helps me out. No, I realized that fixed wing is twice as fast as a quad, but 10% of the control. So it's like the fastest quad you've ever flown, but with the worst PIDs ever. So it really your stick movement, you become really aware of everything you're doing on the sticks and every little bump and every little turn. And I don't know, it made the quad seem a little slower. It gave me a little more time to react and make decisions in my quad flying.
It gives you a different perspective because the faster you go, the less control you have of that wing because your surface is actually, it's a tougher time to actually control that wind as you moving along, isn't it?
Yeah, and then Shelby's always just pin the throttle, just bury the left stick, and then you're good. That's all you need.
Like, you rarely do that with a quad, right? I mean, it's like, it's very rare that you could just pin the throttle and go through the whole course.
Yeah, it's the weirdest feeling ever. I'm like, so you guys basically just fly with the right stick, is what you're telling me. Like, there's no need for this other stick. We could just put the throttle on a switch.
On, off, 100.
Literally, those guys blew my mind. They're like, yeah, we just full throttle the entire time. I'm like, the whole time. You guys aren't messing with me, right? Like, you're not getting me trying to blow my ESC and my motor up. They're like, no, literally, the whole time, just full throttle. I'm like, all right, this seems foreign, but okay.
I highly doubt it's the full time, especially with the smaller courses. But
Yeah.
with those big courses that they like to put out, yeah, they are fast and they sound great too.
Yeah, the sound is ridiculous. They're so loud.
So, what are you flying for fixed wing?
I have one of the VAS spec wings, and then I have a VAS Sphinx, which is the like bigger sport size.
Okay, so Vol hasn't converted you over to the hardcores yet, because every single time I go talk to him, he's raving about the hardcores.
Well, yeah, I told him, I was like, I'm gonna break a couple more, cheap planes first before I invest, 2 quads into your right wing.
They are a little bit more expensive. You got that right.
Yeah, no, his right wings are, man, they're crazy. They're so well built. Those ones that Chris built are just amazing, so clean.
I know, they're super cool. So, like, now that you have a taste of fixed wing and quads, it's like, what do you think? You're probably more of a quad guy, but like, did you do you like fixed wing?
I do like fixed wing. I actually, when I was growing up, always wanted to be a pilot. So I took, pilot's lessons in the Cessna and did stuff like that. So I have a soft spot for fixed wing, but I'm known for my quad skills. So I don't really. I go out with Shelby and the guys around the area and fly with them, and they beat up on me in the wings. So it's a new feeling to be at the bottom of the pack trying to scrap my way up to the top.
Uh-oh, there we go. Somebody wants to be tops in both quads and wings. I'm not sure if you could do that when you get to the top, but it's fun though, isn't it?
Well, I think in the future, the way wings are gaining popularity, I think top FPV pilots are going to have to be proficient at both. I mean, I really do. I think we're going to start seeing events where it's quad one race and then you're flying a fixed wing the next race, and ultimately it's your FPV skills, not necessarily your fixed wing or your quad skills.
That would be kind of interesting. We tried to do that this year, but we just couldn't get a handle on it this year. We might try it again next year to try to do a quad and a fixed wing to try to get in both the communities, but it's hard.
Yeah, I think fixed wing is still probably a year or two from being like really well, I don't want to say mainstream, but as mainstream as quads are. I definitely know this time last year I wouldn't even have thought of flying them because they just look so ridiculously hard to build and everything. And I think they're gaining more popularity now because they see more people flying them, like Shelby and Brian Banks and Turtle and all the guys putting out these race videos, all quad pilots who basically went over them and were like, you can build them. They're not that hard to fly. It's a lot of fun too. It really is. People need to give it a try if they haven't.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that when you start learning them, you do want a bigger area than you would normally a quad. Would you say that's true?
Yes, definitely. Well, actually, I grabbed this one from VAS called the Gremlin, and it actually uses a 1407 motor, and I fly it in the little playground behind my house.
Is it a little putter one, a little putter wing?
Yes, it's a little biplane with dihedral built in, and it's just a bank and yank, and it's so much fun. It flies at like 8 miles an hour.
You just basically let it go, and it just floats its way around.
It's like a 15-minute battery off like a 2-cell 500. It's awesome.
I think that's one of the greatest things about wings is the flight time. If you just want to go out and just kind of float around, it's like there's nothing that'll beat a wing.
No, nothing. I have one of those big sky surfers, and I'll sit there for 25, 30 minutes flying around. It's insane. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, that's pretty cool though. So let's start wrapping up this stuff. Like you already told us that your team is going to try to stay together. Is there actually any more team events that are going on, or do you guys just go out and compete or represent your expert drones as a team at 2 events?
Yeah, we'll go to definitely a bunch of solo events and just represent, as a team for expert drones. But I think We're gonna try to go to. I guess they're gonna have a team race at the Multi GP Open, which is in August, I believe. I'm not sure. I gotta look at the dates on that. But yeah, we're gonna try to go to that, and then hopefully Mega Drone X in November we'll have some team race too, and we'll try to do that there.
Sounds pretty cool. So, like, in the Maryland area, if people wanted to get a hold of your team or just want to know more about Expert Drones, where would they go?
You can go to expertdrones.com, or best way, honestly, is just hit me or Cody or Tom up on Facebook. I mean, just hit us up on Messenger, send us a message, let us know what your concern is or questions are, or, just want to talk, hit us up.
Cool. Now, Expert Drones deals more with just the photography and the video things. They don't really build racing drones, or do you guys take care of that on your side of the house?
No, they basically, like you said, they do DJI repairs and stuff like that. So they're not really in the racing drone game at all. They don't sell frames or parts or anything like that. It's mostly just repair on DJI products.
Okay, well, that's good. Do they have like a storefront, or is it just internet base?
No, they have a storefront in Alexandria, Virginia, right in Old Town.
Oh, I thought they were further up north, but okay.
I'm sorry, they actually just opened a store in New York too, upstate.
Oh, okay. They're going big time. Holy cow, New York.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. So, I actually, hopefully, I can get some of your other teammates onto the podcast. I'd love to talk to them because they're a cool bunch of guys, and I hope you enjoyed, being with us at Dover, because we love talking to you guys on the stage. I think all of you were actually pretty good talking in front of the, audience.
Oh, we all just love to hear our own voices. So yeah, anytime you give us a mic, we're
funny thing, right before we leave, is that Justin beat us up on wanting to do a drone race day show, to, like, the starter, in which we got you guys up there and we went over like what is drone racing, all that stuff for the audience so we can record it. And he was the one that cut me off like halfway through because he was running out of time. I'm like, you're the one that's been beating me up for the last 3 weeks about getting this done right, and then all of a sudden, like, when we're actually here doing it, like, you cut me off halfway through. It's like, okay, whatever. Flip table.
Come on, make it your mind. Make it your mind.
I really hope you enjoyed you guys up there, because we had a lot of fun interviewing you guys, and you guys definitely were having a fun time. And by the way, for a summer sport, having white as a team color is a really good thing.
Oh man, we got to thank Cody on that one. He made the executive decision. He was like, "Nope, we're trading in the black this event for white," and I got to thank him for that for sure.
I know. It's like Platinum Misfits was all in black. I was like, that's got to be hot, because like I had the darkest tan this year because of this. Okay, I'm literally like, holy cow, I have not had a tan this dark in like years.
Oh, I know. My girlfriend's like, you look like a lobster. You are. 1 second, it was worth it.
Hey, did you even knew about the prize? Because like I literally found out like an hour before like we were gonna present. I was like, there was a prize?
Yeah, they walked over with those 3D printers. I was like, oh man, this thing's really cool. He's like, yeah, these are the prizes. I was like, what? Oh, okay, cool, awesome. So I guess we get one.
I was so surprised. It's like, why didn't you tell us about this earlier? They would have been a lot easier to get more. Never mind.
Yeah, you see how vicious those pilots are, and we all thought we were just racing for street cred.
It's true, man. It's true. Well, hopefully, like, what was the last question before we leave? What was the damage? What was the butcher's bill in terms of parts by the time you get out of there?
Oh man, I think I lost a motor, a camera, a VTX. I think Cody went down a couple motors. Tom lost a VTX and a camera. Bill lost an ESC, a motor, and a VTX, I think. So all in all, not terrible. Maybe a couple $100 for the weekend.
It's not that bad.
No, I was really surprised. I thought it was going to be worse. I really did.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys didn't lose a battery, like, because it was definitely tough when you guys crash. It's like you're smacking those batteries around pretty hard.
Yeah, that one battery fire was spectacular.
Yeah, I actually thought it was an ESC fire because it was way in the back, and then somebody told me it was a battery fire. I was like, oh wow, we finally busted one of those.
So I was actually racing that heat too, and Justin was like, "Land, land." I'm like, "No, man, I'm in first. I'm killing. I'm not landing. What are you talking about? No way, dude. No way." And he's like, "The net's gonna burn down." I was like, "All right, I guess I gotta land. Damn it."
The net's gonna burn down. Hey,
We gotta get the quad.
Justin probably doesn't want me to talk about the expense of the net, but that was a really, really expensive net.
I was gonna say, we actually Expert Drones put on an event in San Antonio, and I remember looking at the estimates for netting that in, and it was like half the size. So yeah, my hat's off to Justin for making that work somehow.
Dude, yeah, netting is crazy. Like, I have a couple 100 feet of netting, and I don't want to go through that expense again. It's like, it's not fun. I'm just saying.
No, definitely not. It's probably honestly the biggest expense of the entire race, I bet, for the promoter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the support systems is stupid too. But all right, Chase, where can we find you out on the internet?
You can find me at on Facebook at Chase Waddle, or you can check me out on Instagram at Kova FPV or YouTube at Kova FPV.
All right. Does your team have social media pages?
Yep, we have Team Expert Drones on Instagram as well as a channel on YouTube.
Alrighty, go ahead and follow them. They're really great guys. If you're in the Maryland area, definitely go out there and check out their multi-GP chapters. They're really friendly. They'll get you into racing. They'll beat your ass a lot, but it's you got to start somewhere. What'd you say?
I said it'll make you better, I swear.
They'll bruise your ego is what he just said.
Yep, no one's a champion around here. We're all just waiting for that second place finish.
That's a lie. That's funny. So who's the winner in the chapter right now? Who do you think is the best?
Billster and actually Dex from Capital Quads have been killing it lately. So I know me and Tom are plotting on them on Sunday.
Actually, after we get done with Platinum Misfits, we got to get Capital Quads on. Like, Dover's in the Delaware area, so obviously Maryland's really well represented in the teams. But we could tell that after coming out of that, like, you guys in that region, really incredible, really fast. It's like I would only probably say that maybe in the 2B area might be a little bit better than you, just because they're so represented nationally in terms of drone racing, like in DRL and stuff.
Yeah, no, and that's what I honestly said going into that Dover race is I just wanted more recognition for the area. I honestly think that Maryland, other than like you said, the 2B, the Florida area, is probably one of the best regions in the country right now for racing.
Definitely, and it's good to have that credit. So like, keep racing. Get your more social media account guru on so that you can get into DRL in 2018, man.
MQR is going to be taking over this year. We're going to be on all the podiums.
There we go, man. Hey, Kova, I really appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to be cutting out. Thank you so much.